Right, let's say hello to a superstar. We love him. He's going to be a big friend of the show. He's been on talkSPORT a few times, but he's sort of ours now. We own him. Let's say hello to the wonderful Jermaine Jenas. Hello, Jermaine. How are you?
How are we, pal? We good?
I'm good. I'm very well. How are you? Are you well today?
I'm all good, yeah. Can't complain at all. Nice start to the day. Took the kids to school. Had a nice listen to talkSPORT this morning. Had to deal with a bit of abuse, obviously, but it is what it is.
JJ, how you doing, boss? You all right?
Hold on, we don't abuse you.
I'm good, Benny.
Who abused you?
Oh no, they had just a bit of fun on breakfast, didn't they? This morning, that's all. But it's okay. It's all part of the game.
Listen, you don't want to go on breakfast. You want to come on the proper show, the drive show.
That's why I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the referee thing first or last? Should we get it out?
Let's get it out of the way, then we can have a bit of fun.
All right. What's happening? Where are you at with that? You had to apologise yesterday, right?
Yeah, look, I think, from my point of view, we're all human, we all make mistakes, and, it was just, my frustration was just articulated wrong. And I think that, the wording of what I said was completely wrong, and the way that I put it. My feelings towards kind of the standard of refereeing and how it's been handled and how much it's changing the game, that hasn't changed in terms of my opinion. So, it was just... an error on my part in terms of the way that, like I said, I articulated my words. And I think in any walk of life, you got to hold your hands up at times and just go, you know what, I got that one wrong, and we move on.
Okay. I think he's answered it. Can we all move on now? We're all done with it? We are. Okay, fine.
Yeah, let's be done with it.
Let's move on, Jermaine, all right? We'll talk about me beating you at golf in just a moment. But let's stay with football, shall we? Before the break, I don't know if you're listening, before the break, we're talking about the latest goings on at Manchester United with Jadon Sancho. And whether or not he should come out and apologise, and if he does, he'd have more chance perhaps of getting back into that United side and then playing on his preferred left-hand side, Rashford not flying at the moment. What's your view on everything Jadon Sancho and the fact that supposedly he's not even allowed to eat with the first team at the moment?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because Ten Hag took a really kind of strong stance on the situation. I mean, initially, he's really tried to help Jadon. I think last year I just heard the caller talking about it, giving him a few months off to maybe sort out himself physically, and obviously mentally he came out, I think, and was saying that he was struggling a few bits and pieces, and I thought that Ten Hag really handled that situation really well at that point. I think the problem in today's game, because what I heard was the comparisons to, if Sir Alex Ferguson was there, this wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen. The game's changed so much, and players are way more powerful now than they used to be. And, my mindset would be this: if I was Jadon's friend, I'd be like, look, you can apologise. You can quite easily apologise if that olive branch has been handed to you. You can get your head down. You can work as hard as you possibly can. You're at one of the biggest football clubs in the world, so it's not going to get much better than this for you. This is a big opportunity for you, and apologise, get your head down, and try and work your way back into Erik Ten Hag's good books. The issue is these days, players are probably sat there going, "I'm not apologising because." The way things are going, you'll be gone in about 6 months, Erik. You're not going to be around Ten Hag. So the next manager that comes in will have his own opinion of Jadon Sancho. But every manager that came in when I was a player, it was a clean slate for everybody. And, Jadon might just be sat there thinking, yeah, I'm happy collecting my 350 grand a week. Me and you don't get on. I don't get on with the way that you want me to play. So I'll just wait for you to get the sack. And then when the next guy turns up, we'll go again. So it's so difficult for Ten Hag with regards to kind of the whole, the handling of it. I feel like he's handled it reasonably well. I don't think he should have came out in the first place and spoke to the public about it. If I'm totally honest, and I hear people keep saying, "Oh, show him the door, show him the door." I think you said it, Andy. He's essentially shown him the door. There's not much more he can do. You can't drag the guy out of the club. He's still going to be getting paid. So. It's a really, really difficult situation that Manchester United and the manager have got themselves into. All that he can do as a manager is just focus on the players that want to do exactly what he says. But he has to draw the line somewhere with all the players, and it seems like this is it for Jadon.
JJ, I was saying this earlier about when you talk about the manager, because some people were saying that you rarely win if a player goes up against a manager. But as you alluded to there, he probably feels in himself that he'll be there a lot longer than Ten Hag would, certainly with the way managers are treated nowadays. But when you look at Jadon and his time at Manchester United, why do you think we've not quite seen the same player at Manchester United that we saw at Dortmund?
You know what, Benny? It's a good question. I remember around the Euros, as pundits, were all screaming at Gareth Southgate, saying, "Why is Jadon not playing?" And sometimes you have to look at other aspects of the game. He's got all the ability in the world, Jadon. To go and be whatever he wants to be, and we saw that at Borussia Dortmund, and they got whatever it was out of Jadon to get him to be sold for near £100 million to Manchester United. I always look at things like, why has Pep let him go? Why did Pep not let Foden go? Why is he not letting people like Rico Lewis go? But he's allowed Cole Palmer to leave, who I have no idea about. I don't know about Cole Palmer at all. I know he's a top player, but why has he let him go? Why has he let Jadon Sancho leave the club? And the only conclusion that you can come to at some point is this: there are issues maybe off the pitch that have a negative impact on the business, on what happens on the pitch.
But let me ask you, on the back of that, Jose famously let Mohamed Salah leave and Kevin De Bruyne. And I look at those two, and I think, you're never going to get a problem out of those two.
Yeah, but that's more ability-wise, I think, at that time, from where Chelsea were.
I think Jose is a very specific case because they were kids when he had them, and Jose's always been about having experienced pros kind of right at the business end of the season and knowing how to kind of get the job done. I think the youth has never been his bag. Really, I don't think anybody's really looked at Jose Mourinho and gone, "Oh, he helped develop this youngster and that youngster." Okay. I'm sure there's a couple out there, but that I think they're two different scenarios.
Okay, but with Jadon Sancho, I think in fact, before I ask you this question, do you know anything about the Jadon Sancho situation? Because you've got people at the club that you can't necessarily tell us. Are you basing your ideas on just your ideas from what you've read about?
I know nothing about. There's no inside scoops going on here. I'm just looking at it from the outside like everybody else, and then obviously my knowledge of being in the game. Okay,
so the reason I ask that is because I think I've not played at your level, of course, but I think there are two types of people in the world, not just football, in the world. One type of person that wants to prove they're the best, prove they're always right, go out there, and the best way to prove it is by producing the goods on the pitch. And the other way is just like sort of ignorant people that are like, well, it's their fault, it's their loss. I'm going to sit on my backside and I'm going to wait till he leaves. And if I was Jadon Sancho, and you alluded to it before, that if I'm at the biggest club in the world and I'm confident that I've got the skills and ability to prove my worth on the pitch, I will keep pushing and pushing and pushing and wait for my chance. And when I get that chance, I'll take it. And I just feel that Jadon Sancho is the opposite of that.
That's all about characters, though, Andy. It's about what drives you as an individual. For all we know, I played with loads of players like this. That Jadon might just be driven by money. He might just be like, my background is X, and I need to provide a certain life for me and my family moving forward, and I've already achieved that. So to find that drive to go on to the next thing is very, very difficult. But there are certain people out there that want to create legacies and want to kind of build. You look at someone like Jude Bellingham, for example. He seems to be the opposite end of the scale. Don't care about the money or the fame. He's out there to go and achieve things.
Yeah.
So it's difficult but that's the manager's job. The manager's job is to motivate that individual to be whatever he can be. So it's up to Erik ten Hag to get the best out of him somehow.
Let me ask, because Bentley's going to move it on to North London Derby, but just to draw a line under this, just a yes or no, if the only way Sancho can stay at Manchester United is to apologise to Erik ten Hag and move on, do you think he should apologise?
Yes.
Okay.
Lovely.
Simple as that. I mean, big club. Massive club. He's not going to go anywhere else that's bigger than United off the back of it, so yes.
Absolutely. So JJ, talk to me. North London Derby 2-2. Listen, it almost feels like a defeat for Arsenal and a win for Spurs for Arsenal.
Say that again?
It feels like a defeat for Arsenal, but a win for Spurs.
Did you watch the game? Did you actually watch the game?
Of course I watched the game. But my point is that when you speak to most Arsenal fans today, like yesterday, it almost feels like they got beat, whereas the Spurs fans are so delighted with the performance, and rightly so, because I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, it's all about your position as to kind of where you are, isn't it? And I think Arsenal going into that game on cloud nine, all that everybody's talking about is that they're going to be the challengers to Manchester City. So really, Spurs, given the managerial change, just lost their best player in Harry Kane, should have just been easy food. Really, should have just been like, brush them aside. This is going to be one of the easiest North London derbies around, and I think. I don't actually think that the players underestimated the situation, because I can clearly see from a Tottenham point of view that they're onto something. And I definitely feel that those Arsenal players could see that. I think from a fan base point of view, they probably just read the script wrong. they read it totally wrong and thought that it was going to be a lot easier than it was. And what they faced. I mean, I felt like that second half was a humbling, if anything, for a lot of Arsenal fans, because it was a bit like, we're going to go for the league. And then in that second half, it was like, wow, we are miles off it because Spurs have just come and played us off the park. The thing that you need to kind of factor in here is like, look, let's be honest, like no Martinelli, no Trossard, Declan Rice going off. You take Maddison and Basuma and Romero out of Spurs, you got a different game altogether. So it's their first little bit of kind of injury crisis type situation. They didn't adapt to it well during the game. And in the first half, realistically, if Jesus sticks that one away, it's a different game. So there's all these ifs and buts. But realistically, from a Spurs point of view, it was absolutely massive.
I don't know if you heard the day before Benty did his combined 1-11. It was all Arsenal. Did you hear that?
I didn't.
And he still won't budge. What Spurs players get into that combined 11?
I think Basuma gets in there 100%.
Ahead of?
I would say, Havertz or
No, Havertz
Vieira.
don't start though.
Well, Vieira then. Fabio Vieira was starting.
Okay. Just to reiterate then, so it was Benty's starting level when everyone's fit.
Full strength.
So he's going Rice, Partey, and Odegaard.
He's going Rice, Partey, Odegaard. So yeah, I can't get Basuma into that midfield.
You can, but who are you taking out of Rice, Partey, and Odegaard?
I'll take Partey out on the basis of what I'm seeing now. I'll be honest with you. I think Basuma is that good. I'm seeing the best of Basuma right now. I think we all saw what he did in that second half. And I would, I rate Partey massively. I think Declan is going to be, potentially like what Tony Adams was to Arsenal in years to come. So it wouldn't be him. So I'd put Basuma in.
Okay. Anyone else? What about Son? Does he get in?
Son gets in all day long. Yeah, I'll take Son over Martinelli.
Yeah.
You're not taking Maddison over. I know Maddison played well, but you're not taking Maddison over Odegaard, are you? Let's just be honest.
Say it. Back yourself. Back yourself.
What? No. I mean, right now I would do. Yeah, I like Odegaard massively, and I think he had an unbelievable season last year. It's going to be interesting to see at the end of this year, kind of, because they have a specific job, those two players, and it's about goals and assists.
Yeah.
What are they bringing to the table with regards to goals and assists? And I don't think you would sit here right now and say to me, I bet you 100% Odegaard's going to get more goals and assists than Maddison.
I'll take that bet.
You want to take that bet?
I'll take that bet.
Okay, we'll talk off air and we'll have a bet.
No, let's talk on air. How much is
I'll take that bet.
Well, 10 grand?
Let's not get into money.
That's just a day at the One Show, isn't it, for you?
No, let's not get into money. We'll do the football shirt thing. We'll do something around the football shirt.
Okay.
But I can't see that happening. I think Maddison, will have easily, if not the same, I think more goals.
What about? Can I make the bet? What about you come in if you lose, and if Benty loses, I'll make sure he does it. The badge.
I'm coming in anyway.
I know you are. The badge kiss though. So if you're wrong,
yes, the badge kiss.
You got to kiss the Arsenal badge, and Benty, you got to kiss Jermaine's cockerel. Yeah. What? The Spurs. What's the matter with you? The Spurs badge.
Oh, brilliant! Right, I've got one more player.
Okay,
I think Ndogi gets in there as well.
Who?
I think Ndogi, the left back. I think he gets in as well.
Oh no, I'm taking
Zinchenko. Yeah. Okay.
I think Zinchenko's a decent player, but I don't know. I think Ndogi. You watch this guy fly, man. I'm telling you, he's got something special.
Okay. Let me ask you. We've got the international break. Oh, just quickly, actually, with regards to James Maddison, how impressive have you been? I said to Benny, for my money, him and James Ward-Prowse have been the best two buys in the summer. Do you think that Maddison deserves a start in Gareth Southgate's 11 or not?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because, you got people like Grealish who absolutely lit it up last year.
Yeah.
And I love Jack, and I feel like Jack's still not really been given that kind of run of games in the team on that left-hand side. If he's going to be playing kind of in the hole, he's up against Jude Bellingham. He's up against it. From what he's doing for Spurs, there's no doubt right now, he's on the plane at the end of the year to go to the Euros. It's just getting that start, I think even himself would admit it's very difficult. But I'd love to see him in there because I just think he adds something that's totally different to the team. Yeah. I really do. I think he's totally different to obviously what Bellingham and what Jack brings. So it's great that Gareth has all of that. So I've gone around the houses, but I just, it's a difficult one.
Okay, before I let go, two quick questions. Your old side, Newcastle, they were okay in their last game. You didn't feel the need to tweet about the referee in that one? 8 goals is enough.
You know what? It was a mauling, wasn't it? They were absolutely sensational. Yeah. And you know what? They've had a difficult start to the season, I think. Almost finding that balance. This is what happened. This is why what Eddie Howe's done has been incredible. Because if you add too many good players or too many ball players, it upsets the balance of things. And I think he's going to start to kind of like blood Tonali into the game, into the team a little bit slower. Because they had the balance absolutely spot on against Sheffield United, and from minute one they were up against it. But yeah, it was amazing to see, not only them in the San Siro midweek, but go and do that as well. Yeah, the 2 in the back.
Jermaine, you've been a star. Annoyingly, it's never long enough when we get people like you on the phone.
I know.
We've got an international break coming up soon. Can we get you in the studio during that time?
I'll be in.
Do you promise?
I'll be in and we'll have some fun. I promise I'll come in and see you and we'll do a proper show.
Okay. Well, hold on. We do a proper show every day, you cheeky little... But we'll...
an elevated show.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
By the way, all jokes aside, you two incredible. Benty, man, love what you're doing, bro. Honestly, you've gone to a new level. Hold
on. What about... He gives out the sounds. What about the pilot? What about the pilot, JJ?
Yeah, you've got in there. But I love listening to you both, man.
That's very calm. We love watching you on the telly as well. We don't watch the one show. Obviously, we're on air and it's not aimed at us anyway. Listen,
right. We got the numbers. We're good.
Can we borrow some? We would love to have you in the studio. Genuinely, I really appreciate your time. Brilliant. We're huge fans of yours, Jermaine. Thank you so much for your time.
Nice, JJ.
Thanks for having me, people.
Thanks,
see you later.
There you go, the superstar Jermaine Jenas. He's brilliant.
Yeah,
we're very lucky to have him on the show, and we'll get him in the studio as well.
talkSPORT Drive, super opinionated sporting debate, Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.